Hi, and welcome to Cosmic Traveler, the one-stop shop for all of your astrology meets travel needs. My name is Shana Conde, and today we are going to be talking about what I like to call dead zones in your astrocartography map, what they mean, and why you shouldn't be scared of them. They're really dope. So first off, what is a dead zone? Let me show you. In a previous video, I was talking about how I lived in Playa del Carmen, Mexico for most of 2023, if I'm being honest. And there's no lines here, right? Like when you look at the rest of your like astrocartography map, let me show you. This is what your map looks like. It's very zoomed out. I know it can be very overwhelming, but there are lines everywhere. And these are just the major placement lines. You also have a bunch of tinier ones that are aspects that talk about harmonious or disharmonious aspects and all of that. But there are lines everywhere. But notice, like for example, there's a large part of South America where no lines are. For me, well, like no major lines, but these kinds of spaces where there are no major lines or smaller lines that look like these that are just the aspects, these are dead zones. So for example, for me, Brentwood, but it's pretty close to like other things. So the closer that you are to a line, the more that you'll feel the impact of what the energy is of that line. But if you have no lines anywhere near, for example, for me, that's Playa del Carmen, that's what I consider a dead zone. Why do I think that? First of all, let me explain why I intentionally moved to a dead zone for my first big international move as a solo Black woman traveler. I might need to find another word other than dead zone because it's giving the wrong implication. But in these lineless zones, I find that it gave me the space to figure out what it is that I want in a home, a long-term place of residence, without any other additional influences around me. Because the moment that you have like, let's say that you're right next to one of your moon lines, right? Now each line has 4 different personalities, MC, IC, DS, descendant, and ascendant, right? But in general, the moon talks a lot about home, emotions, generally emotional stability or emotional healing, wellness, that kind of thing. But for a lot of moon placements, the essence of home comes up. So a lot of people can feel a very deep connection to places along their moon line, right? So, and that's a positive. That's the feeling of home is a positive that is attached to a lot of moon lines. And then you have other things that are like your Plutonian lines, your Pluto lines, which are about getting down into the depths of your soul, hard transformations it is the rocky chrysalis phase to make where if you can work through that shit, then you could become the butterfly at the end of it. But you have Big Daddy Saturn lines that are all, can be real hard, right? So those influences they influence you. They have an effect on your experience of a place. If you'd like more, I have a video about what it's like to just visit a Saturn line. And it's not my experience, but I talked to a friend of mine that I brought with me to Mexico, because while I don't have any lines over where I was staying in Mexico, she had a Saturn line that ran directly through my home in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. And it was hilariously chaotic is all I'm going to say. Watch the video. But anyway, so when it comes to these lineless areas, I really enjoy them. It's a space where you can make the energy whatever it is that you want. I was looking for a space. I chose Playa del Carmen for a number of reasons. One, I like that kind of climate. It reminds me of my maternal and paternal homelands. Both of my parents are from the Caribbean. If I could live in 90-degree Fahrenheit weather every day, I'd die a happy woman. All of the fruits and vegetation were things that I was used to. Mango season. I'll say less. It's a very walkable city. It's beautiful. It's beachside. It's the prices were within a range of affordable for me. there was an international community there, but also the level of Spanish that I spoke was passable, and I had the space to learn more without feeling like I would be tried. So there was a bunch of reasons for me to go to Playa del Carmen because I was already considering Mexico as a whole. But when it came to the energy, the astrological influences that I was looking into when it came to my travels, I knew that I'd done a lot of work on myself, and I wanted to just experience my energy untouched by any other influences in a space long enough for me to consider, where would I like to move to next on my own without feeling pressured to stay, pressured to go, not by people on the outside, but literally just by the energy around me. So I went to Playa del Carmen. And so if you are curious about one second, I need to think this through. So if you were thinking about travel, or if you were thinking about relocating completely, packing all the bags, selling the house, all of that work, but you want a place where there's a stillness, essentially, like there's not, the highs aren't crazy high, the lows aren't crazy low. It's just a space where you can experience yourself or just experience your family. With that level of quiet, I recommend one of those lineless zones. Personally, I recommend one of those lineless zones. I think looking and traveling to spaces that are on different lines, different planetary lines, it's for more intentional travel, intentional relocating. If you just want to get away, then like I recommend going to a lineless zone. But if you're looking for something specific, that's where I really think astrocartography can help massively. So yeah, different things for you to think about. Tell me if where you are living right now, is it a lineless zone? What's your experience of it? Or are you living on one of your astrocartography lines? Did you choose to move there? How has it been vibing with you? Also, full disclosure, the more that you know about your chart will more clearly inform what you're experiencing where you live. It's always a fun thing to explore. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me. Oh my gosh, I keep forgetting to mention this. I also do consultations. Information for that also below. There it is. Like, share, and subscribe. Oh my God, I know I can talk. Like, share, subscribe. Talk to you next time. Bye.